world can be so cruel. We have our hands tied, they treat us like we're fools. Yeah. We're underestimated and boxed in. All judgmental labels spread us thin. We can run away to another place. No need to worry, you'll be my safety. We can run away to another place. No need to worry, escape reality. Escape reality. No need to worry, escape reality. Escape reality. Oh, we can take this world by storm. I could.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Silk Masquerade. So glad to have you join us. Hola, everybody. And for those of you that are watching this on the rebroadcast, welcome to Silk Masquerade. Don't forget to go in and to click that subscribe button. Make sure you tap that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. You'll always know what is coming up with Silk Masquerades. And you can find us on Facebook Live as well as YouTube. So make sure you check us out. Tell your friends, tell your family that we've got good conversations going on here on Silk Masquerade. And tonight we have Mr. Anthony McClendon joining us, the hair doctor, master hairstylist. So he is going to be bringing us some words of wisdom as it relates to this pandemic hair. Pandemic hair, don't care, has pretty much been my theme. I'm not sure about most of you, but I've been trying to do a little bit, at home, trying to make sure, your girl doesn't leave the house looking like she doesn't belong to anybody. So we are going to have Mr. McClendon share some information with us this afternoon. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So, everyone, if you would, please welcome Anthony McClendon to the screen. Anthony, hello there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I see I've got something else in my background. So, let me change it right now. So, welcome to Silk Masquerades. So happy to have you join us today. And I am looking forward to the conversation. Master hairstylist. Now, in full disclosure, you guys, I know him as Tone. So, so known Anthony for
Mm.
years. But what I did not know was that Anthony is a master hairstylist, that Anthony also wrote a book which is entitled, um, it is entitled Natural Hair versus Relaxed Hair. So we're going to have him tell us more about that a little bit later on. Right now, we want to say welcome, Anthony McClendon. So nice to have you join us. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I just want to thank you for the pleasure of being here, just sharing some of my knowledge and information that I really love to give that information because I want to help somebody.
All right, sounds good. So to start off, we're going to have you tell us, who is Anthony J. McClendon. tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and your education.
Okay, that's a long story
Oh,
because I've been around for a while.
you got a few.
So yes, so I was born in Macon, Georgia. I was eight of nine children. I was the sixth boy, eighth child. So I got five brothers and three sisters. So we had a very big family. And
Oh, that,
one good thing, one good thing about a big family, there was always some action going on. We stayed into something. We always had entertainment. We entertained each other. We didn't have to go to the store and buy the big wheels, all that stuff. We made it. So we made it from scratch. So it was always something going on when I was growing up. Um, as far as elementary school, I went to Pearl Stevens Elementary School. After that, I went to Miller Junior High. At the time, it's Miller Middle School now. And I was active. I played sports. I mainly played basketball, and I matriculated to Central High School. So that was pretty much the family. Everybody in my family graduated from Central High School. All my brothers and sisters. So after I graduated from high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But when I was in high school, I stopped playing basketball, and I was other activities. I played tennis. I was also in ROTC, and then I was on the drill team, the precision drill team, the Golden Boots. So I didn't actually know what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school because growing up, we were always taught graduate, go get a job. So college really wasn't in the works. So time came and spring came, and our church. I was a member of Bethany Seventh Day Adventist Church, and we had a strong youth ministry. So spring, we took a big group of young people to Oakwood College at the time for college days,
okay.
and it was nice. I got to see a lot of my friends that I normally see from federations and camp meetings. So it's like it was good. I saw friends, and then I had friends as well. So we got there. It's like, okay, this is okay. This is all right. I might consider that college thing. So one thing that sealed the deal for me to actually go to Oakwood College, but first I applied to two more colleges, but I really wasn't serious about it because one reason I didn't take the SAT in high school. And one of the reasons why I didn't take the SAT was because it was on Saturday, which is my Sabbath. Hello. So I applied and I didn't get a response back. And then the other college I applied to, I was turned down because of the SAT. So my final resort was okay, well, if worse come to worse, I can go to the Air Force Reserve because I had ROTC background. So I would have went in with rank. But what happened when we went to college days, this is spring quarter of my senior year in high school. They had a concert, and the group that was putting on the concert at the time it was Alliance. We know them now as Take Six, and they actually can sing. And what really kind of sealed the deal for me because coming up, I was in a singing group as well, a male singing group, and we used to travel, go different places in different churches and sing. So I was like, okay, I want to come to Oakwood because I want to sing with them.
Okay.
So that was that was my final. So I got home and I told my parents I want to go to Oakwood. And they looked at me like, you want to go to Oakwood? How you going to pay for
Uh-huh.
it? So I don't know. My mom, she kind of twisted my dad's arm because my dad was he was a self-employed electrician. So self-employment pretty much ran in my family. My uncles, his brothers, they were all self-employed. So that's mainly what we actually saw a lot. We didn't see any going to work punching in. They all own their own businesses. So I was like, okay, we are gonna probably end up getting older, getting our own business. So apparently my mom pulled twisted my dad's arm, and I ended up going to Oakwood. And what kind of made it sweet, the deal sweet, was I didn't have to take the SAT, but I could take the ACT. And they said I could take the ACT when I got there.
Okay.
So that was cool. And mind you, this is my first time away from home. The high school that I went to, it was 50-50 black white. So when my parents dropped me off at Oakwood, it was almost like a culture shock. It's like all these beautiful black people here. So it was good thing. So freshman orientation week, they set me up, and I was able to take the ACT. So I took the ACT and everything worked out. They got my classes, so I was able to start. So my major was business, business administration. My concentration was management. And I chose that because, once again, I wanted to own my own business. But at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to own a business. So that was an awesome experience for me. My plan was just to go to Oakwood for 1 year and then do something else. And one thing I learned, and everybody who attended Oakwood will tell you, there's nothing like the Oakwood experience.
That's what
And
I,
I didn't
you know,
go
I
ahead,
missed,
see.
I missed out on that. So even this weekend, watching the virtual Oakwood alumni, I kind of felt like I missed out on something. You know,
Right. Yeah, and it's nothing like it. So once I got in good, I started meeting friends that I already knew, and then I started meeting people that I didn't know, and everybody was nice. It's like the campus was beautiful, but at the same time, it was almost like we were sheltered, and it was kind of a good thing for me because we were kind of sheltered as well. We were able to do some things, but we were still sheltered because of being in church, all of those things. So the first thing is, oh, I'm by myself now. I can get wild, but I didn't do that. So and then once I got there, I got comfortable and I started doing my classes, and I was not doing well in some of my classes. And long story short, I started failing some classes. And after that first quarter, I went home, and my parents got that report card. The, the first thing my dad said, "Oh no, you're not going back. You're not going back." And I said, we had to go through our mom. My mom had a kind of a little power over my dad. So I told my mom I wanted to go back, give me another chance. So they let me go back, and that next quarter, I failed two more classes. So by that time, I was in too deep, but they allowed me to go ahead and go back and finish the year. They said, "You're just gonna do this year." So that spring quarter, that's when the light bulb came on with me. And it's like something told me, well, I guess it was my angel. It said, well, this is on you now. If you don't succeed in this, if you don't pass, you cannot blame your parents. So I remember walking back to my dorm room from one of my classes. And then after that, that's when my whole outlook just turned around. So I ended up passing all of my classes my spring quarter. And then I want to go back. So they allowed me to go back. So once I went back, that's when everything was like in overdrive. I was on the honor roll, dean's list, and I was playing basketball. And then I tried out for the college choir at the time. That was one of the biggest choirs at the time. And I made it. And we actually traveled a lot of places. And then we did a lot of classical music. So I learned about that. Didn't know how to read music. I learned how to read music, how to do notes and all of that. And that was the weird thing about our rehearsals. We had 2 hour rehearsals 3 days a week. And we always rehearsed in sections. And we would go our part. I was baritone and bass. So we went over our part. And I'm just saying to myself, how is this going to sound? Because normally when you sing with everybody else. So we normally got together, all the parts got together on Friday. And when we got together, I remember that first time, and it's like when everybody started singing, I was like, wow, I was floored. And that's one thing that I learned is everything that you do and that you do in life, there is a technique behind doing it. And that really opened my eyes to that. And then that kind of helped me also with my classes as well. And then I graduated with my bachelor's degree in business management. And that's when the job search started. Job search started. I was applying everywhere. And I would look in the mail. I get that letter from the companies that I applied. And I remember the first one I opened up. It said, "Thank you for your interest in our company. Um, we do this, blase, blase, blah." And then the next paragraph, unfortunately, you don't have the experience for this position. And good luck on your career search. And that was my first letdown. So I continued to apply for jobs in business in the business field. And they all came and they when I started getting the letters, it was the same thing. So it got to the point when I got letters in the mail, I just opened up the letters and I just looked at the last paragraph and they all said the same thing. Unfortunately, you don't have the experience. Good luck on your career search. So I was like, okay, what do I need to do? So at the time, I started working at retail, and I was working for Kmart at the time before they closed. And I just told myself, if worse come to worse, I will get into the retail management program. So I worked at Kmart probably about 6 months, and then I applied for the retail management program, and I got hired. And the crazy thing about it, I got hired, and I went for my interview, and the district manager um, told me, he said, "I'm gonna be straight up with you. I don't know what I need to do because the personnel manager didn't give you a good recommendation." And there was no reason for it. And I later found out that the personnel manager, she gave me a bad recommendation because she didn't want me to actually leave that particular store. So what he did, he hired me as a supervisor in a temporary situation, and then I will be promoted to a store manager, and I will eventually get my own store. So I was like, okay, cool, I can handle that. I can do that. So it was okay, and it got my feet wet in the business world, and then knowing how businesses are ran, I learned about payroll, I learned about inventory, I learned about assignments, assigning of staff to doing different things. So it was good. So that probationary period was supposed to be 90 days. The 90 days turned into 2 years.
Oh.
So that's when I kind of got frustrated because he would always come to the store. He said, I hadn't forgot about you. I forgot about you. The next store that come available, you'll be the first one to go. So this was a African American guy, and I'm thinking, okay, hook a brother up.
Mhm.
But what started happening is there were other managers coming in above me, and I was training them. And that's when the frustration kicked in for me. And it's like, okay, you got to do something. So that's when I decided, okay, well, you might as well go back to grad school. I did not want to go to grad school because I was, after 4 years of college, I was done. So they didn't promote me again. So I told myself, I said, I'm going to give them to the end of summer to promote me. This was in July. So I gave them to the end of August to promote me. So the end of August came. I still was not promoted. So I took my last 2 weeks of vacation, and then I came back with my resignation letter. Within that time, I had applied for grad school. I got accepted into grad school, and I started working at a barbershop. And that was my first experience in a actual barbershop, which is what I was doing when I was in college. That's how I made my money. I was cutting hair in my dorm room. I started cutting hair when I was 13.
Wow.
So that's how I made money while I was in college.
Okay.
So it turned out it's like, okay, my hobby is making me money while I'm in grad school. So while I was in grad school, I only went for one semester. It was like pulling teeth to get me to keep going. So that's when the light bulb came on. It's like, okay, you need to open up a barber shop. So that's when the barber thing came in. So that's when I made up in my mind. It's like, okay, I'll open up a barber shop. So I stopped going to grad school, and then that's when I was like full steam ahead, um, trying to open up a barber shop. So I was, at the time, I was working in Warner Robins, Georgia, and then I moved to Macon. I moved back to Macon, and I was working at a barbershop salon in Macon. And while I was there, high school classmate of mine happened to stop by the salon that I was working at. And mind you, I'm doing all of this, and I don't have a state license.
Oh.
So I didn't realize that I was illegal until one day I was at the barbershop that I was working at in Warner Robins. And the state inspector came into the salon, and she came to me, and I always laugh about this. And when I tell people this, they laugh as well. She came up to me and she said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm fine." She said, "May I see your license?" And you know what I did?
What did
I
you do?
went in my back pocket, got my wallet out, and I pulled out my driver's license because I thought those were the license she was talking about. She said, "No, your barber license." And I was like, "No, I don't have one." And she said, "You know, you're supposed to have a barber's license." I was like, "For real?" Then I didn't realize that you had to be actually certified and actually to perform that art.
So no one told you that.
No one,
Wow. Wow.
no one. It's
Okay.
like you have talent, you have the skill, so they automatically assume it's like, okay, yes, you are a professional in that craft. And that's not the case. You have to, there are things that you have to go through in order to make that thing happen. So
Right.
so after that, I spoke with my high school classmate, and he said, "I didn't know you was cutting hair." I said, "Yeah, I've been doing it about 2 years now." He said, "Have you ever thought about doing women's hair?" And I said, "No, man, that's not me." And he said, "You ought to think about it. Is real good money in it." And I didn't realize at the time he actually had a salon. He started in the industry straight out of high school. So he had already been in the industry for probably about 6, 7 years, and he already had his own salon. So when somebody tell me something and I see the benefits of it, I actually really seriously think about it. So I thought about it for a whole 24 hours. And after that, that's when I realized it's like, okay, that'll be fine. I can have a salon because if I do a salon, I'll know what they're doing on the women's side and the men's side.
But did you think that because you knew how to run a barbershop that you could also run a salon? Aren't they quite different?
They are really not.
No?
They're really not when you actually look at it as far as the professional aspect of it. But when you look at it on TV, you'll see a barbershop being operated this way, and then you will see a salon, a cosmetology salon being ran this way. But they really should be ran the exact same because we all have the same rules and regulations that we have to abide by through the State Board of Cosmetology and barbering. See, it's all together: barbering, cosmetology, nail technicians, and estheticians. We have to follow all the same rules. So after that, that's when I decided it's like, okay, I'm not going to go to barber school because I'm not going to go and do something that I already know how to do. So that's when I started researching. Okay, well, I might as well find a cosmetology school to go to. And I told myself, if I go, I'm not going to pay. So a friend of mine told me about one private school. It wasn't too far from the salon that I was working in. So once again, I'm still working in a salon, illegal, but hadn't got caught yet. So I went to the school and inquired about enrollment, and they took me back and they signed me up and they said, "We would love to have you." Blah blah blah. Did the paperwork, the financial aid, and they said, "Well, we'll let you know if we accept you." I left out and I went straight home. By the time I got home, once I walked through the door, my phone was ringing, and it was the owner of the school. And she was saying it was the financial aid administrator. We got everything took care of, and when do you want to start? So I said, well, I can start next week. So I started next week, and the blessing of the whole thing, I actually went to school free, and that was a blessing. So when I went to school, it was about 37 students, and I was the only male. So that was a kind of uncomfortable situation right there. And I kind of start second guessing myself. Do you really want to do this? You're going to be around all these women. But my motivation was if a woman can do it, I know I can do it.
Okay.
So, and the crazy thing about it, it was scary as well because all I knew how to do was barbering. I knew how to cut hair. I knew how to do designs. That was it. I did not know how to make a part. I did not know how to put a roller in.
So
I didn't know how to
now,
put a roller in, all of that. So I worked at it and I eventually got good at it. So I ended up finishing the program 4 months early and I ended up being the top student in my class. So once I graduated, I was still working in the salon, and I also went to state board, passed first time, so I was a licensed cosmetologist. So while I was working in the salon that I was working in, they closed down. So I moved to another salon, and my goal was I was going to open my own salon in 2 years. So the second salon closed down, so that kind of sped up the process. So I opened up my salon 2 years later, and after I opened up my salon, it's like, okay, hopefully my goal is to have multiple locations. But the easiest thing to do is maybe I need to start teaching. So I went back to school at the same school that I graduated from, and I got my teacher certification. So finished, graduated from there. So I was a licensed cosmetologist and a state licensed cosmetology instructor. So I got my first job as far as teaching out of school. I worked with that school for 3 years, and then I went to another school in an administrative capacity. I was the campus director of that campus, and I worked there for 1 year. And that's when I decided to start my own company offering continuing education for the Georgia State Board of Cosmetology. So now I'm a state board certified continuing education provider. So I provide continuing education for all of the licensed cosmetologists in the state of Georgia. So that was a good experience for me as well. And after that, that's when I had a concern about one of the salon I was working in. I started seeing a lot of women with bald spots. That was around the time you remember when the ponytail bob was in.
Yeah.
They had the ponytail up top, and then the hair hang down. It was a bob. That's when that style was popular, and it was a lot of clients that had bald spots in the top, and that kind of interests me. So I was like, okay. And then I started seeing a lot of braids. And over time, I started seeing a lot of women starting to lose their edges. Well, that's one of the things now. You don't have no edges. And I knew there had to be a reason for that. So in 2008, um, I I went to one of the hair shows, the Bronner Brothers show, and I attended a hair loss class. And that's when I started learning about trichology because I had never heard about it until I attended that seminar. So when I attended that seminar, I was like, man, this is interesting. So I signed up for the actual course, and I attended and I took the course, and it was a eye opener. That's when I learned so much about how everything affects your hair. I just thought hair was something on your head, and I didn't realize everything that we do, it affects the health of our hair and the wellness of our hair because our hair is a part of our body. So that's when I started learning about all the different types of hair loss, what caused them, if they can be corrected, how diet play a role in the health of your hair, skin, and nails. And that's when I decided, okay, that's gonna be my avenue. I like to style, styling is good, but I got in more interested into the science of understanding the hair, skin, and nails. So that's why I pursued trichology more. And at the same time, I was still educating. And I went and got more certifications. I got certification in, I became a hair loss specialist through the United States Trichology Institute. And then I went back and got my associate trichologist certification as well. So I have 3 levels of trichology certification, and I've been practicing certification. Well, I've been practicing trichology now for 13 years,
Okay.
and that's where we are right now.
Right now. Okay. So, at what point did you decide that you were going to write a book? Because honestly, when I said, I need to contact Tone and get him to come on and talk about, taking care of our hair, especially during this pandemic. I didn't even know that you wrote a book until I started I started researching you, and I said, "What? You wrote a book?" You know, uh so what led to that, and what can you share in regards to that debate, because it is a debate for a lot of.
Yes, it is. And it was funny how that book came about. I also do seminars and workshops. And what would normally happen with me, and it was also happening as I was teaching as well in cosmetology schools, I would get into debates with clients and they would try to tell me what's going on with their hair. And then they would tell me, "You don't know about my hair. This is my hair. I done had this hair all my life. So how can you tell me what's going on with my hair?" And I was like, "Ma'am, this is what I do. Sir, this is what I do." So I started doing seminars. I do seminars. I have a few uh, seminars that I do, but a lot of them deal with hair loss, understanding shampoos, conditioners, knowing the right ones to use, what not to use, all of that. So the issue was always dealing with hair loss. Clients with braids, it's like, okay, you need to stop wearing those braids as much, especially you wearing them all down your back. You
Okay,
need to stop getting those
wait,
glue
wait,
in styles. You need to
wait.
stop getting.
You know that many women prefer what is called protective hairstyle.
Okay, I got some bad news for you,
Okay.
and that will be in my book as well. There is really no such thing as a protective hairstyle.
Oh,
All of those hairstyles are doing some type of damage, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. The only protective hairstyle that you have is a hairstyle that you are not doing anything to your hair, and that's normally going to be a fro or something like that.
okay.
And people say, "Well, I get braids because it helps my hair to grow." Your hair is going to grow anyway. As long as you're living, your hair is going to grow. So all of that information is in my book as well. So after all of these different debates and arguments about that natural versus relaxed hair, that was one of my seminars.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh my goodness, I need to just go ahead and put this on a book, and hopefully they will read it and then they'll understand it a little bit better." So I just took my seminar information and then I just compressed it into a mini book, and it was called Natural versus Relaxed Hair: The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, because it's covering both understanding natural hair,
Mhm.
understanding relaxed hair, knowing the pros and cons of it, educating you on why you decided to choose the route that you choose. Because a lot of women, a lot of clients that I had, especially a lot of new clients, they would say, I cut my hair off because I want my hair to be healthier." You cut your hair off, you cut the relaxer off, but then you go do a sew in, and that sew in is nothing but tension on your hair. And by nature, our hair, African American hair, is the most fragile hair that's out there.
Okay.
But we do the most.
eh, Yes, we do. So when you say by nature our hair is the most fragile by nature, tell me
Mhm.
about this. What is it? 4C and 3B. I never heard of it. I never knew about it until my daughter started talking about her hair. And what in the world? Where did that come from?
YouTube University. That's where it came from.
Okay.
And I guess I should have wore that shirt. And I have another shirt that said, "Don't let your Google search overshadow my cosmetology degree, because
Oh,
that's what a lot of
that,
people do. They will go try to get information from YouTube,
mhm,
and then they will think that's gospel.
yes.
As for professionals, we understand hair to be either straight, wavy, curly, or over curly. It's going to be one of those four. And each of those four, the hair is shaped a certain way. Round hair has a round diameter. Wavy hair has a oval diameter, which causes it to do that.
Mhm.
Curly hair is going to be a little bit more oval, which will allow it to do that. And overly curly hair is going to be real flat, which allow it to do that. That's why you hear people talking about this. The shrinkage is real.
Yes.
But once they pull that hair out, that hair is like this long.
Mhm.
That's because that hair is flat and it's coiled up. But once you pull it out, it will straighten out, but it won't stay. And that because that hair is flat. And that's why our hair is overly curly hair is most fragile by nature because it's so flat. It will always break off at the strongest point within that coil. Just think about old school telephone. You remember the
Yes.
telephone cord?
Mhm.
That's pretty much how our hair operate. You will pull it, and the more you pull it, it's
Mhm.
going to eventually start breaking off. It's going to break off in the weakest point within that strand. That's why when our hair break, it don't ever break in the same place. It's like that.
Yes. Yes.
So now straight, wavy, curly, overly curly. Don't when I have clients call me, what texture am I? 4B, 4C? I'm like, no, you overly curly. So that's something that came out a few years ago, and that was something pretty much off YouTube.
Okay. So, what is your advice for us, especially during this pandemic, as we try to care for us? Some of us, I have not seen a salon since March 15th of last year. And when the governor said stay home, this chick was
Hmm.
not going into a salon. So, and a
Right.
lot of people have felt that way. What have
Yeah.
you been doing for your clients, and what have you been advising them to do during this time? What can we do?
Okay. Now, at this point now, clients are starting to come back more. But last year, we officially had to shut down in April, like the middle of April, and we were shut down from April to the middle of May. And within that time frame, a lot of my clients they want to know what to do, so I recommended what shampoos that they could use, shampoos, conditioners, styling aids that they can use uh, in between time. And that's one of the main things is knowing what shampoos and conditioners to use. One thing you hear a lot of now, you hear shampoos that are sulfate free. Those shampoos are better because understanding the soaps that are in the shampoos that we use, understanding that the soaps have an impact on the health of your hair as well. Some soaps in certain shampoos can actually cause hair loss over time. And that main soap that will actually cause that hair loss is it's called sodium lauryl sulfate. You have sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium lauryl sulfate. You will find that soap in a lot of your cheaper shampoos, like your Suaves, your the 99-cent shampoos. So you want shampoos that have more of coconut in it, coconut extract. And how you will know if that's a good shampoo, you will see in the ingredients. The first ingredient is normally going to be water. The next ingredient is going to be what the soap is, the surfactant. And it's going to normally be some coca something. It'll be cocamide DEA, cocamidobutane. It'll be something COCA. When you see that, that'll let you know that it has coconut extract in it. That's going to be your surfactant. So that's what you're going to be looking for in the shampoos, because that's going to be better for your hair with that. And then your conditioners as well. You want conditioners that have a lot of oils in it, not a lot of alcohol in it. So I could give you different brands, but I try not to do brands. I let you know ingredients, because when
Oh,
you start picking, choosing your hair products, you choose your hair products the same way you go grocery shopping. I tell people that all the time, and that stop you from having a vanity full of 50 million shampoos, all of these conditioners, all of these moisturizers, all of these leave-ins, all of this. Just understand what ingredients you need for your hair, and then that's all you need, and that'll be your quick fix.
okay, okay. So what about men as far as caring for um, their hair and beards, especially if they're not really going to, because nowadays men care for their hair. It's not just going to get it cut anymore or just
Right.
cut your hair at home. So
Hmm.
what advice do you have for them?
Same rules apply. Same, because hair is hair, men or women. You want the same ingredients when you're doing these services, even with your beards. You want more oils. You gotta have some silicone in there. Your cyclos, diclomethacones, all of those. So you want something that's gonna actually coat your hair. Oils are good. Your coconut oils, your olive oils, they're good, but they're not good to use by themselves. Because I hear people, a lot of people, they that's the thing now. People are into growth oils,
Mhm.
and the oils really don't grow hair. Hair growth comes from within. What those oils are doing, they're coating your hair. It's coating the structure, which is what's protecting the hair from outside elements. But the difference with coconut, olive oils, those are fruit oils, so they easily absorb. So once you put it on your hair and you put it on your skin and your hair is thirsty for it, so it's going to absorb it fast. So after you put those oils on your hair, probably in a couple of hours, your hair's back dry again. And you start wondering, it's like, okay, that oil is not working. So now you're going buy another oil, which is the same thing, and you still having the same outcome. So you want these oils, but you also want something that's gonna actually stay on the outside as well. So you're gonna have your Vaselines, your different you got different greases, waxes in there. All of those things are in the products for a reason. They're in there to actually coat the shaft of the hair, to protect the structure of the hair from the tension damage, the heat damage. It's just like a roof. The shingles on the roof, your hair has three layers, and the products that you use, they actually protect the outer layer from all the wear and tear that we put our hair through.
Okay. Okay. All right. So when it comes down to it, what actually is better, relaxed or natural?
It's not which one is better. It's why you choose to do which one you do. Even when I have clients to tell me, I want to cut my relaxer out, I want to go natural. The first thing I ask them, where are you trying to go with it?
Hmm.
Because a lot of people go natural for the wrong reason, or they go natural, but they still have a relaxed hair mentality. And what I mean by that is you are still trying to do everything with natural hair that's going to only work with relaxed hair. Because when you relax your hair, you chemically alter it. You alter it to be able to do all of these different hairstyles. So you're able to manipulate it and do all of these different things that you cannot do when your hair is in a natural state. And Once again, even with your blowouts, you're using excessive heat on your hair. So you're using that excessive heat, you're damaging that structure of the hair. And over time, that hair is going to become dry, brittle, dull, and it's going to break off. So I always tell my clients, you need to pick your poison. You're going to have damage over here. You're going to have damage over here. You just need to decide which route you're going to go. So it's not which one is best. It's why you choose to go this route. Okay, I went natural because I want to do this, this, and this. I went relaxed because I want to do this, this, and this. So you're going to be educated on the reason you chose to do what you want to do. And a lot of that information is in natural versus relaxed hair, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Okay, so we have one question, and that's my daughter. She's asking, what are your favorite products that we should use with the oils that we're using on our hair?
I won't say a favorite product. And the
Mhm.
crazy thing about it, you can, if you got those oils, you can just pour them in some old fashioned Vaseline or some Blue Magic because that's all it is. The Vaselines, the petroleums, what it does, it's a thickening agent. So it's a thickening agent, and then they add all of the oils, the waxes inside of that thickening agent, which
Oh,
is what's going to be beneficial. So as far as a product brand, I normally don't recommend a product brand. I can tell you I use all professional products, but a lot of people that are cost conscious, you can make, that's what's happening now. A lot of people are making their own products. But when you make your own products, you're understanding what you're mixing and why you're mixing. So that's the information I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you a brand to use. Once again, like I said from the beginning, I'm giving you ingredients that you need to have in the products that you use, and then knowing what those ingredients are doing for the structure of your hair.
okay. So we are looking for ingredients when we're
Yes.
looking at products for our hair, whether it is for shampoo, conditioner.
Conditioners, styling aids, foam wraps, hair glosses,
Okay.
hairsprays, everything. And if it's over 100 different ingredients that's going into products, even preservatives are in products as well. So if you don't know what a products you have at home now, if you don't know what's in it, you can actually, now I give you permission to Google the ingredients because
Now
because when you when you Google the ingredients, it will let you know what those ingredients are and what they use for.
okay, okay. All right. Well, master hairstylist, that has been a lot of information. We had someone that said valuable information, and that is valuable information because a lot of times I know for me, I look at products or someone would say, you need to use this type of oil. I am very fond of Jamaican black castor oil. So
Hmm.
I like using it, but I also found that it can be heavy on the hair. So then
How?
um it seemed to be thick, like, on my hair. I found it to be good for my skin, but not necessarily for my hair, but I do use it on my hair because, like you said, sometimes your hair, you apply it, and then a couple days later, it feels dry again,
Right.
and that's because your hair is absorbing the oil,
Hmm.
and that's a good thing, right?
Right. That's a good thing.
A
And
good
I
thing.
hear that a lot. I don't put oils in my hair because I don't want it to weigh it down. The oils do not weigh your hair down. Gravity weigh your hair down. So the longer your hair is, yes, it will be weighed down. The
Uh-huh.
oils that you put on your hair is doing what it's supposed to do. It's protecting the structure. The same reason when you get out the shower, you put lotion on. Why do you put lotion on? Because I'm trying to protect my skin. I don't want to be ashy. Same rules apply with your hair. You got to put something on your hair to protect it. because if you don't protect it, it's going to be dry, brittle, and dull. And once it's in that state, it's breaking off. Like, and you can tell if it's breaking off by licking in the sink when you comb your hair. If you see short strands, that means you have it's our technical medical term. It's called trichotillomania. That's split end damage. That means you need to get your ends trimmed. You have to get your ends trimmed on a regular basis, at least every 8 weeks, because you got to think about everything that you're doing within that 8 week stretch. You're gonna probably get some braids. You're gonna be doing a blowout. You're gonna be flat ironing. You're gonna be plaiting. You're gonna be wrapping. You're gonna be outside. Wind, dust, the elements can also have an effect on your hair as well. So that's what you're doing. You're trying to protect that structure.
Okay. Now, I did learn something during the pandemic, which I don't think I really paid attention to before, is that stress also has an effect on
Yes,
our hair. And
it
so
does.
a lot of people going through this pandemic has also had an effect on our hair.
Hmm. And
So
the
would
reason
go ahead.
I was about to say the reason for that is because the stress levels, when your stress levels are high, that's something that's going on inside. So your body is out of balance. So when your body is out of balance, your body's secreting hormones and enzymes to help put that body back in balance, which is going to have an effect on your hair, your skin, and your nails. So
Wow.
what those hormones are doing is trying to balance you out. And when you're not doing it, it's gonna fall out. If you're on medication, all that medications, it's going to the bloodstream, which is gonna cause problems as well. Also, when you're stressed out, you start doing crazy things. You start rubbing, you start doing this, you start. A lot of women actually scratch the top of their hair out, and they don't realize that they do it. And I have clients that I treat for hair loss, and I'll ask them when I go in and do an analyzation. I'll ask them, "Well, do it itch up at the top?" And this is what they will actually do. They will, "No, it don't itch. It don't itch," and they'll be there actually scratching, and they don't realize that they're doing it. So you have to be mindful, because the more you scratch and the more you do those negative things, that will eventually lead to permanent hair loss, because now you're affecting the skin, and it's a disorder for actually pulling your hair, rubbing your hair out as well. And I'm not gonna talk over your head with what those names are, but professionals do have an idea of what they are. But you can actually scratch your hair bald, so you have to catch it before it get to that point where it's actually permanent.
All right. And so if we are having those issues, then we need to find ourselves a master stylist. We need to go and check out hair doctor. So we are coming down near to the end of this hour that went by quick.
Yeah, it
So
did.
I have a question. It says, how about
Mm-hmm.
chemotherapy? What kind of effect does chemotherapy have on our hair?
Same effect, because that's affecting the blood. I'll go ahead and give y'all this information.
Mhm.
Nothing outside grows the hair. Hair growth is from within. Hair growth it comes from the state of the blood. The blood actually feeds the follicle, which allows the hair to grow. So now chemotherapy is the equivalent, almost the equivalent of high blood pressure medicine, diabetes medicine, hyperthyroidism. Those medications are used to correct something. So when you ingest it, it have to go into the bloodstream. So what you're doing, you're feeding your hair, skin, and nails poison. That's why when you're doing chemo, your hair start falling out, because you're actually killing those follicles. Because and that's why some people, that scalp will feel hot, like it's on fire, and what it's doing is actually poisoning that follicle. So tips for that is you're gonna have to get the chemo out of your system. Normally, once you complete your treatments, Normally within 90 days, it'll probably take about 90 days to get it completely out of the system. And then that's when you will see your texture start changing back to that natural state. Because when you are on chemo, on different type of medications, help medications, your texture will change as well. Your hair will become softer. Your hair will become more brittle. Your skin will become more dry. Your skin will become blotchy, patchy, all of those different things, because you're taking medication to correct something, and all of that medication have to go through your bloodstream, which is what feeds your hair, skin, and nails. So my tip is you have to get all of that out of your system. If you want high blood pressure medicine, you're gonna have to do a lifestyle change and get off the high blood pressure medicine. The diabetes, you're gonna have to get off it. And then once you get off it, you should see a change within 90 days.
Okay. Okay. All right. That is awesome. Now we have another question, one last question. If there's one major tip you can give to customers, what would it be?
Okay, that's a kind of vague question. As
Mhm.
far as hair products, going back to what I was saying, know what
Yeah.
ingredients are in your hair products. If you are trying to find a stylist, first find out if they are licensed by the state of Georgia. You have a lot of stylists that are talented, but they don't have the credentials. So there's going to be something they don't quite know about what's going on with your hair. If you start having problems, they can't tell you what it is. So you have to research your stylist the same way you research a doctor. And I tell people that all the time. You have to go in and search. You have to ask questions. If you're interested in somebody based on the styles that they do, call them. Ask them some questions. Ask them anything. If they can't answer basic questions, your hair concern questions, you need to move on to the next person. So those are the main tips that I will give to
Okay.
customers.
All right. So, what do you have coming up? Any projects, any events in the work? What's going on with Anthony McClendon?
Okay, what I have going on, I also do a hair camp for teens. It's called Cosmo Beauty Camp. And you can go to my website, cosmobeautycamp.com. So you can actually teach young kids how to actually the basics of hairstyling. And the reason I started it was mainly because of my daughter. My daughter is 27 now. She grew up in the salon from age 2 all the way up. So she saw it, and then it was crazy. I used to take her to hair shows with me.
Mhm.
CosmoBeautyCamp.com.
Camp.
You left out, yeah, you left out camp. And I used to take her to the hair shows with me, and then before I knew it, she was styling her own hair at 6 and 7 years old, and I stopped doing her hair like early when she was 7, 8, because she would do her own hair. And I was like, okay, if she can style her hair and she can look and figure that out, other kids can know. So I started my camp in 2011. So I've been doing the camp now for 10 years now,
Wow.
and we do it from age. We've actually let 10-year-olds attend our camp. It was originally age 12 to 17, so late elementary school, middle school, high school, and
Oh,
we started accepting 10-year-olds. And the objective of it was to teach them the basics of hairstyling so they can better take care of their hair at home. So if they wanted to do it after high school, they will have some knowledge already. And through this camp, we've actually had over 10 students of our former students in the past to actually go and attend cosmetology school, and
wow.
they actually receive their license, and they are licensed cosmetologists now.
Oh,
And
that's
then we also had some who actually went off to college and they were doing hair in the dorm room. And then they would still keep in contact with us, and they would thank us. Everything we learned at the camp, I was doing. That's how I made my money in college. So
Okay.
it was very beneficial with that. So I love doing that. So this year we will. Right now, we're planning on doing it in two locations. We have an invitation to do our summer camp at Gordon State College.
Oh,
We were planning on doing it last year there for the first year, but COVID kind of canceled everything. So they contacted us, so they wanted us to do it this year. So we will be doing it at Gordon State College in Barnesville, Georgia, and we are gonna do the camp here in Macon, Georgia, as well.
okay.
And
That is
it's 5 weeks, but we're knocking off 1 week because of COVID. We teach them how to do makeup as well. So we're gonna take makeup out this year because of COVID, but we'll be doing everything else.
all right. That is an awesome opportunity. And in addition to that, you also have your website for information. If individuals want to get in touch with you, they can check out
Yes,
wegrowyourhair.com, and you can get in touch
exactly.
with Anthony J. McClendon, the hair doctor, and see what information he can share with you. Thank you, Anthony, so much for coming on this evening and sharing your information with us. It has been most valuable, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for sharing with us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
All right, we have come to the end. I'm sure that individuals, if you want more information, you can get in touch with Anthony, and he will be more than happy to guide you in the right direction. Thanks again, Anthony. Hold tight for us. All right. Wow, everybody. We have come to the end of another episode, and I am so happy to have you all join us and want to let you know we had a winner. There was a question asked um, through Silk Masquerades. We asked the question. We posted a picture and asked what the name of that picture, what that item was, and how long it took Chef Afi, the chef from last week's show. She came on and gave us some wonderful information and how long it took her to prepare that dish. And Tamika Lee is our winner. Tamika Lee, you will be receiving in the mail a gift from Silk Masquerades. Want to thank you for participating. And we want you guys to stay tuned to Silk Masquerades on Facebook as well as Instagram. There will be a question this week for you. We want to find out who the next winner will be. And we want you guys to also stay tuned. We've had a bit of a schedule change for next week, but wanted to let you know that next week we are going to have a bit of a treat. It will be my daughter and I coming on to have a bit of a chat and chatter. So you don't want to miss it. It's going to be interesting, something we've never done before. So we'll see how this goes. But we've had a change in our schedule. So she's going to jump in and help me out. And we are going to get into it next week. So don't forget to check us out. Make sure you tell your friends and family about it, that we are here, Silk Masquerades, and we are sharing information and lessons. And we're sharing it with each other, and we want you guys to be a part of it. That sound means that it's the end of the show, guys. And remember, if there's something missing in your smile, maybe it's time for you to bloom right where you're planted. And then come tell us about it, okay? Let's get into it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with someone else. Make sure you let them know what's going on over here at Silk Masquerades. All right? Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Bye. Peace and blessings.
There's something missing in your smile. Something missing in your soul. There's something missing in your smile. Something missing in your soul. Yeah.